Live from the Raymond J. Bork Arena here in Beverly, Massachusetts, I am JJ Sylvia, joined alongside me by Joe Casey. Welcome into another installment of Endicott College Women's Ice Hockey. Tonight being featured on ECTV. And Joe, it's your first time in the booth for ice hockey with me. What are your feelings going into this one as the number 7 Gulls get set to face off against the Curry College Colonels?
It is my first time in the booth here, Sylvia, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for welcoming me in for this broadcast. But number 7 Endicott Gulls coming off a huge couple of matches, putting them at number 7 in the country, as you said, and I think they got a big conference game here tonight, but a team they can definitely take care of, and I expect them to do so.
And Joe, it's going to be a tough test for the visiting team today in Curry. Only 2-7 overall, 1-5 in the CCC. An entire squad of freshmen going up against a very experienced squad like the Gulls, who have basically been nationally ranked for the past 3 years on and off. It has to be a tough test tonight for the Colonels.
100%. I mean, you're talking about a team that's, as we mentioned, ranked nationally, just came off good games against the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, and a team that's had a dominant program for years now. Curry College definitely the tough test ahead of them tonight.
Let's look at the starting lineups for these two sides as the patrons get introduced to them. Kat Keith will be at the left wing for the Gulls with Courtney Sullivan at center and Quinn Healy at the right wing with Madison Hentosh and Tara Henshaw as the starting D pairing. And then for the visiting Colonels, it will be Grayson Gulgajian at left wing along with Hannah Berkowitz at center and Paige Rodriguez at the right wing with Kaylee Woolke and Kenzie Fogarty as the D pairing for the Colonels. And Joe, we're just about to get into the national anthem, so we're going to take a short break as we do that, and we will be back on the other side here on ECTV. And welcome back into the Bork Arena, everyone. JJ Sylvia, Joe Casey along with you. Let's meet the starting goaltenders tonight. First, for Curry College, it'll be Anna Langton. She comes in at 2-4 with a .909 save percentage and a 3.22 goals against average. And then on the other side, for the Gulls, it'll be Bailey Teben. She's 2-1 with a .935 save percentage and a 1.01 goals against average as we're underway here at the Bork Arena. Talked in pregame about the comparisons between these two teams and really a lot of differences. This Gulls squad with a healthy dose of juniors and seniors to kind of be the centerpieces for the group, but then we look at a team like Curry, all freshmen, has to be a little bit harder to kind of get that chemistry developed that Endicott has been building on for years.
Right, and definitely, as you said, a tough start to the season for Curry so far, and a lot has to do with the inexperience there.
Endicott has dictated the pace for the past few minutes up top for Jenna Siebold, who's a two-sport athlete on this campus, also plays field hockey, back out in front, and what a save there as the goalie wasn't the one to make the stop there for the Colonels. It was actually Alex Layden, the defender, who was able to step out into the slot and block that potential wide-open goal, and it remains 0-0.
Then you call it the chemistry line for a reason. That's kind of where that comes from. They've been playing together for a long time. They know what they like. They know what they can do. They know how much success they can find, and they do that well here tonight.
Coolman, far board, dancing toward the slot, high circle, and a save by Langton. Puck loose in front of the net, up top, Burwell, her shot, Langton, the glove save, with absolute mayhem around her.
Langton's been impressive.
Desperate times. Pass into the middle is picked up and nearly cleared, but Burwell able to keep it in. Coolman, top of the circle, her shot off the crossbar.
Great moving shot there by
Clock killer as the horn sounds to conclude this first period. And Joe, it was an action-packed first period, dead even for pretty much the first 12 minutes, and then Endicott breaking the ice with a very familiar face doing it in Courtney Sullivan.
And they're definitely going to need some more of that, Sylvia, some more of that offensive action, putting the back of the net if they want to seal the deal on this one. But I mean, if we look at the unofficial shots on goal, 25-2, kind of the story of the first period, as Endicott dominated early.
1-0 in favor of the number 7 nationally ranked Gulls as we look toward the second period. We'll be back after the first intermission here on ECTV.
Be a little better at putting the puck in the back of the net. All credit to Langton, though, on her impressive performance still.
Langton has already surpassed her save total from Curry's last matchup with New England College. And should Curry find a way to escape the Bork tonight with an underdog victory, Langton will take a lot of the credit, I'm sure, Joe, to not truly have an answer for Endicott's defensive zone setup. The Gulls often pinching right at the blue line to make sure that those entrances into the zone aren't incredibly fluid, and it really has shown its true stripes so far. Andy McPhee's defensive setup, a absolute juggernaut. Burwell top of the circle, looking back door, never fully gets there. Curry has stacked that slot much heavier in this second period, as Endicott was able on both power plays in period one, Joe, to curl toward that slot and get more open shots. Curry game planning in that locker room during the first intermission and adapting for a much more defensively sound second period so far.
Right, they knew what was coming. They got a taste of that Endicott firepower offense in the first, tried to adjust a little bit here in the second, and they've done a better job of doing so. Still not letting a goal up in this period, and have been much more defensively principled, honestly, against the Endicott offense.
Emily Bisbee's third line for the Curry College Colonels out there to counter the fourth line for Endicott. Still on the power play. Hentosh near side. Fantasia tipped in front, and keeping it out was Langton, and the Colonels will clear.
And Fantasia with great positioning there, getting her body up in front of the net and trying to put another one on frame, but Langton's there, makes a stop, and Endicott now has to repossess and get themselves back in the offensive zone.
Popkin near board, trying to force it forward. She's met at pretty much the blue line, but the Gulls gain the zone, and it's pushed below goal. Sullivan in there to create the turnover. High circle Popkin. Down low, Sullivan trying to feed the slot. Couldn't get the pass there, and Curry will clear up into their bench as Nasty, who has been efficient at clearing so far in this one, this time just got a little bit too trigger happy. It's Saskini and Kuhlman. Now a chance brewing here for Curry as Gulgajian tried to feed it into the slot, and the Gulls quickly move it out. Francischini rotating in her zone. Burwell and now Kuhlman across the line. Kuhlman dangles by two defenders, the backhand, and a stop. She tried to tuck it in, and keeping it out at the absolute last second was Kenzie Fogarty. And now a chance for the Colonels. A stop by Teben and a rebound is pushed to the far corner.
And we see Curry's real first attack on net. It was a dangerous one at that. A lot of bodies crashing, a good shot on net. And Curry looking to find some energy here late in the second period.
Teben once again with very limited action in this one, standing tall and remaining cool and collected in her crease. Sullivan near side moving in, and a stop by Langton. Langton to cover it up once more with 58 seconds remaining on the clock. This second period, despite not having any goals, Joe, has been incredibly action-packed, much like the first. Lifted at the last second, a gallant defensive effort by a player who isn't even actually a defender in Emily Bisbee, as the clock strikes zero with a little bit more scare in front of Anna Langton, and the score will remain 1-0 as we look towards the third period. And Joe, the Gulls tried everything they could to get that second tally on the board, now up to 50 shots unofficially in this game, but Anna Langton, really the star of this game so far, stealing the show with about 49 saves to her credit so far for the Colonels.
Yeah, so much offensive action for Endicott, and Langton was tested yet again in that period. Just about the same shots she faced in the first, and still doing a great job, if not better, without letting a goal in that period. And Curry, very so much in this game going into the third period, Sylvia.
40 minutes down, 20 minutes still to be played here at the Raymond J. Bork Arena. I'm JJ Sylvia. Joe Casey and I will be back on the other side of the second intermission here on ECTV.
So far this year, as you mentioned, a lot to do with this inexperience and all these players playing for the first time together and the first time on the college platform. So obviously that's had a lot to do with it, but these next few games will really say a lot about this Curry program and give them the opportunity to find themselves in this season.
As we're back underway here, the Gulls will have to face Curry again, as well as Nichols, Middlebury, and Hamilton in the coming weeks. Middlebury and Hamilton have both been ranked this season, Joe, so even more tough top-ranked tests coming up for the 7th-ranked Gulls as the season progresses. Power play set up well underway here, near side Popkin. Into the slot, Fantasia hesitates and scores! Sam Fantasia returns to her Panther Cardinal Classic form and gets the Gulls that insurance goal they needed. It's 2-0. one of the most evenly matched contests that the 7th-ranked Gulls have seen in this arena so far this year.
And as you mentioned, they got a lot of good opponents coming up. Middlebury again, Hamilton. We see another opportunity close here to the net.
And Sullivan is able to tuck it in for even more Endicott pizzazz. And a 3-0 Gulls lead now as the onslaught is coming in the third, and then Courtney Sullivan with the final dagger to account for all 3 Endicott Gulls. And Casey, another great matchup today for the Gulls. All these conference matchups have been absolute down-to-the-wire grudge matches, and today was no different.
Yeah, no different here. I mean, Endicott at the end of the day got things done. 73 shots on net is the total for the Gulls. 3 goals. I mean, hey, kind of an interesting game, only scoring 1 early. Endicott ends up getting it done either way, scoring those late goals, putting Curry away, and getting ready for their next matchup.
And that will do it for us tonight here on ECTV for our entire